My name is SAVARD. I am the head coach at East Dallas CrossFit as well as one of the 3 owners. I was always an athlete, even up through college. College I had a lot of injuries, so I played very little, but I still had a competitive edge. After college I started running, and I wanted to be one of those guys that ran 100 miles in the Leadville race, or those ultra marathon guys. But injuries kind of took their toll on me with that as well. I always have been lifting weights, since I was 13, so that's always been kind of in my back pocket. So naturally, I fell into CrossFit. The first time I did it, I was with a guy who is training to be a Navy SEAL at the time, and he's a Navy SEAL now. We started working out together and doing, main side workouts. My first workout, Barbara wrecked me big time. I tore all the calluses off my hands, and I felt like I had a hangover for the rest of the day. But it left me coming back for more, as it does a lot of people, just because I felt like I had more to give to it, and I didn't want it to let it conquer me. But as everyone knows, it kind of still conquers you no matter how good you get at it. So at that time I was in school to be on my way to being a physical therapist. I was about to enter into grad school, and that was my goal ever since high school, was to go into physical therapy, and I really wanted to help people, and I really wanted to help my parents, just because they had funded me through school, and I felt like I needed to give back to them in some way. So I was kind of shadowing and helping out different physical therapists that I knew, trying to get a sense for the job. And while I was there, I didn't get that sense of fulfillment like I thought I would. A lot of the people that we saw were really over that kind of like that threshold, that sickness, that whole sickness and health. They were almost, I hate to say it, but too far in the ditch, right? So I wanted to be more on the preventative side, right? I wanted to be there for people before they got to that level. Luckily, 2 of my friends had the same vision, or enough vision to say, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of how this gym was born. All right, guys, go ahead and grab a barbell, grab a rack. Let's set yourself up on one. And once you're loaded up, so before we go through our skill work here real quick, just put it overhead. Make sure you feel comfortable pressing the bar overhead. Shoulders feel good. Your front rack position feels open. Okay? So go ahead and start putting it overhead. Then we're going to get into our 3-3-3 drill. Wake up about 5, make some coffee, kind of roll myself up to the gym around 5:15. Our first class is at 5:30. Luckily, I live 2 blocks from the gym. Think about it as almost both at the same time. Okay, you're shooting your back leg out too much because you're leaning into it when you're shooting that back leg out. Make sure you're going straight up and down. We've got 5:30 to 6:30, and then 6:30 to 7:30 every morning. Sometimes I will have like a personal training session with someone at 7:30, or sometimes I'll go home and come back at 11 because I might have somebody then. We've got a 12 to 1 class as well. So those hours when I go home, of course I eat breakfast. I do work on the computer. If I still have to program for the month, I'm finishing it out. So I'm here 12 to 1. Some days I get here at 10 and work out from 10 to 12 as my workout time. Some days, I'll come earlier in the evening, like 3:30 or 4:30, and work out then. Some days we've got classes starting at 4:30, so I'll go home, eat lunch, and usually come right back up here. Then, 4:30 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6:30, 6:30 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8:30. Thank God we've got 4 part-time coaches. So they handle some of that load, but I'm always usually coming back from 7:30 to 8:30, 3 times a week to coach our prep course people who are, in that intro class trying to become full members. Okay, so you shouldn't be too far forward where you're overloading your front leg. Okay, so sit back on that back leg. Weight is through the front heel and the back toe. Okay, now step in just like this. Watch me. Front foot and then back foot. So, I might go home and eat dinner for an hour in the evening, but I'm back up here until about 8:30 usually. And then I go home, try to go to sleep, and get back up here. Same thing.
So you usually have a pretty strict meal plan that you follow whenever you're doing stuff, or do you just kind of?
Not really. I'll wake up, eat some or drink some coffee with some heavy cream in it, just to kind of hold me over for the few hours that I'm at the gym in the morning, and then I'll come home and eat a big breakfast, usually like 5 or 6 eggs, a few strips of bacon chopped up in there, maybe some yogurt or fruit, and that usually holds me over. I might have a scoop of peanut butter or something until lunch, and lunch is usually leftovers from the night before. I might make some rice and add it in, just if I need some extra carbs that day.
Because you're working out in the morning some days and then afternoons the others, right? Mm-hmm. Is it like set days that you always do morning certain days and always?
I try to do afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then mornings Tuesday, Thursday, just because it kind of works better with the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that works right now. And then I usually don't really work out too much on the weekends. I'll do some stuff, but it's hard being up there all the time during the week. You just gotta kind of get away sometimes during the weekend. So it's hard because my fiance, she has like a typical 9 to 5 job. Sometimes it's she doesn't understand. She's warmed up to it definitely, and she definitely helps me a lot in terms of food prep and all that, so she's wonderful with that. But it's hard having a fiance or a spouse that has a typical job, and then you don't see them in the evening. So we've been definitely trying to work the schedule here better, just to make that better, make that situation better.
You ever you feel burnt out much?
It kind of goes in waves, coaching. I feel like everybody probably experiences it. There's highs, there's some days where, you're still kind of dragging yourself in, and it's a little bit, it doesn't come as, the passion doesn't show as bright. You've just got to find it. But for the most days, the goods outweigh the bad. Seeing those real committed members, hit a milestone, even if it's like a smaller milestone, or that's always huge. That's an easy answer. But seeing in a class, say it's a snatch day, and we're doing EMOMs with full snatches, two sub-maximal full squat snatches, and that's something that I know that I've taught every single person, for the most part, in that class how to do, and it's one of the most complex movements in fitness, arguably. And just seeing everybody, if it's like an EMOM, seeing everybody do it pretty decently, pretty well at the exact same time, and knowing what went into that, and feeling like I had a part to play in that. That kind of puts a little bit of a smirk on my face, and it makes me happy, and it makes me feel like I've actually, we've learned a lot. It makes me feel good in a way. We have a master's program because I didn't want to totally abandon that idea of helping out people my parents' age, and specifically my own parents. So we've got, a program that's, specifically designed for people 50, 55 and older. And, we've got a great group of them. We've got 20, 25 athletes in that group. Both my parents are way healthier. They're both off medication. My dad had, high blood pressure ever since I was a kid, and just changing his diet and getting him in the gym 3 times a week, he instantly dropped down on 20 or 30 pounds, and now he's on no blood pressure medicine. He's feeling great. He was about to turn, it was funny getting him to start because he was kind of stubborn at first. He was about to turn 60 or 61, and his dad and his dad's dad both died at 65. And it was from, some type of heart disease, like a heart attack or whatever. And he was out of shape, but he was already on blood pressure medicine, and he was turning, 61 or so. And it was like, look, Dad, it's pretty much written on the wall for you unless you change it up. And I think that kind of finally got through to him, and once he got in and he got over that initial suck, and he started losing weight and feeling better and looking better and getting compliments, he's stuck to it, and he's there every class. Same with my mom, same with a lot of the other Masters members we've had. It's been great seeing people that potentially could have been on that slippery slope get back in it and change it right around, so they're far from it now.
Yeah. So you originally started having a Masters class specifically so that you would have something for your parents?
Yeah. And it's kind of just grown, and we've got a great community of 50, 60 plus year olds there. On a busy week, if I keep myself busy, I'll definitely work 50 hours at least. And that's not like, obviously it's not like 9 to 5 office hours where you clock in and clock out. If you own your own business and you're running a gym, it's, your mind's always in it, whether or not you're doing actual work on a computer or emailing or programming or whatever. You're always in the game, even if you're relaxing. So it's kind of hard to piece like how many hours I work a day, because it's back and forth all day. I'm driving up to the gym, I'm driving home, I'm programming, I'm emailing people, and just keeping up with day-to-day tasks here to kind of keep the thing running. But I can't complain. Still, it's what I want to do.